Hello neighbors, I'm Cliff Jantz and this is It Any Good? With this video we're going to discuss the latest movie from Tom Hanks, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's important going into this movie that you know that this is not a Fred Rogers biopic, kind of the way it seemed to be advertised or what they kind of hinted at. It focuses on a very small part of his life when he's being interviewed by Esquire magazines for a Heroes edition of the magazine. I think it's in the late 80s, or the late 90s, excuse me. And he's not even the main character of the movie. The main character focuses on Lloyd Vogel, who's played by Matthew Rhys. I think that's how you say his name. I know he's on the show The Americans. I've seen him in other movies here recently since that show was popular. And he plays this character who is based on the real life author of the article, but they add some more family drama to his life, some other stuff to kind of help deliver the message of Mr. Rogers, to show that the effect that he might have had on people. But as a whole, I thought this movie was very well done. I have very few problems with it, but there's a lot of good here. Tom Hanks, number one, as Mr. Rogers, he does a fantastic job. When he first came on screen and he's singing A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I wasn't really sold then, but once he kind of got into the speech patterns and the mannerisms of Mr. Rogers, he really disappears into the role. I think it's definitely Oscar worthy, and I know a lot of guys that probably get nominated for the lead actor this year are going to be thankful that this is a supporting role and not the lead of this movie. But Matthew Rhys does a good job with Lloyd Vogel. This isn't a likable character at first, and he does a good job of performing this role at where you just don't like him, because it's about his transition. So he starts off kind of rough, you don't like him, and then it's about him evolving throughout the movie. The message of this movie I thought was phenomenal. This movie is very up and down. There's a few sad parts. There's a few parts that are kind of like, what the hell? But at the end of this movie, the message is delivered. You leave the theater feeling great about what you saw. You feel happy. You feel a sense of joy and warmth. Another thing, they do this cool thing when they kind of show the characters traveling, because it takes place in Pittsburgh and New York City, so they kind of like set up like the travel scenes like they're part of like the set of Mr. Rogers, where it's the fake car, the toy car going down the road. And I thought that was really cool. It was really neat. The way they told this story, it's almost like it was an episode of Mr. Rogers, and I thought that was a very fun way of telling the story. The bad for me, the character of Lloyd Vogel, it is about his transition throughout the movie, but he stays unlikable a little bit too long in the movie. They could have had him start learning some of these lessons a little bit sooner than he did, because it's not until like the last 20 or 30 minutes that he's finally like, oh, okay, you're finally learning your lesson. So another thing too, the movie gets a little weird, or a little trippy, I guess would be a better word, about halfway through. It kind of worked with some of it, and sometimes you're just sitting there kind of like, what am I watching? Is this a movie about Fred Rogers or not? This is getting really kind of weird. And not because of Fred Rogers, it's just little dream sequences here and there that are kind of weird and take you out of the movie a little bit. In conclusion, though, if you're looking for a movie that's just strictly about Fred Rogers, I recommend the documentary Won't You Be My Neighbor that came out last year. But if you want to see like the kind of effect that he had on people, and this story does a good job of showing that, I do recommend seeing this movie. I left the theater feeling very good about what I saw. I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments below once you guys see it, what you guys thought about it. Also, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Cliff Jantz. This is It Any Good? Thank you.